I've been asked to describe the quest card variant that I use in these videos. I talked about the variants that I use in the videos a little bit. I've not talked in depth about the quests and the quest card variant. Um, Suppose I will real quick. I will post a link to it, to the documents that I've written up here, so you should at least be able to look. But you'll have to make your own cards. This is not a print and play. This is a cut up a lot of index cards and play. so, um, so let's talk about it real quick. So, first off, is the goal. The reason that I made this was because though I love Magic Realm, I love sort of how it, simulates and constructs a narrative in and of itself, right? It doesn't force a narrative. It constructs that narrative by simulationist game mechanics, right? As opposed to, narrative game mechanics. Um, it doesn't force it to be bottom of the ninth, two on and two out. As the game progresses, sometimes you get those interesting situations, sometimes you do not. Sometimes it's a total slaughter, sometimes someone gets away with it. And, but it's emergent. It's emergent gameplay. I love that emergent gameplay. What I don't love is I don't love the victory conditions in the original Magic Realm. I like that they're customizable. That's sort of interesting. But what I don't like is that I think they force a lot of obvious answers, if that makes sense. A lot of times it's just super easy to go for fame, go for notoriety. Um, Done, pretty much. Sorcerer, I should go for notoriety, cast Melt into Mist, and kill the rogues over and over, or the goblins, and so on. So I just feel that the normal game victory conditions sort of force a little bit of dull gameplay. Um, and so what I wanted to do was I wanted to get some. So I love the idea of questing the realm in Realmspeak. I love the idea of the quest variant, which I printed out the entire damn thing. It's sitting somewhere on my bookshelf. But I don't pull those out that often. One is, questing the realm in Realmspeak is a little bit wonky and a tiny bit buggy and not super complete. And the all play quests in there just lend themselves to doing exactly what you would normally do. You go to six clearing space hexes, and you search for treasure locations. Done. So I don't love that. Questing the realm is very much takes over the entire game, makes it a totally different game, really, and I don't particularly love that either. Though I do love some of the quests in the quest supplement. So what I've done is I've created something which feels a lot like questing the realm in Realmspeak. It steals a little bit from there. It steals a little bit from the quest variant, and doesn't quite take over the game as much. It does take over the game in a lot of ways, but I hope it sort of strikes a balance and gives us another victory condition, a better victory condition. So, with that said, let's. I'm going to go over the rules real quick for you. And like I said, I will post a link in the description below, and you can get the documents for yourself, and then bitch me out in the comments about how shitty my supplement is. so, um, so setup. So the first thing we changed the setup. You do not do victory point allocation at all in the quest cards. Instead, once the board's constructed and characters have been chosen, you each get 3 cards from this deck that I have made. The cards will be described in the document, of course, and you can make your own deck. By the way, if you ever come up with any new cards or anything, please tell me. I love adding cards to this thing. It's pretty thick, as you can see. Um, so these are ratty. I need to actually make a new deck. One of these days, I'll like try to make something game crafter-ish and honest to God, just get an honest to goodness deck made. But currently, it's index cards cut in half. So every character gets 3, and your hand is going to be 3 quest cards as you go. At the beginning of the game, so in this case, I drew Giant Slayer, Ghost Hunter, and Secret of the High Pass. So once I figure out, well, let's say that I am, a light character and don't think Giant Slayer is appropriate for me. Ghost Hunter maybe, Secret of the High Pass maybe. I definitely don't think Giant Slayer is for me. Beginning of the game, I'm allowed to turn in, discard. I can discard any of these, all 3 of them if I want, and redraw once. Any card that's discarded is out of play, unless another rule brings it back in play, like someone can shuffle through discards or something. There's only 1 or 2 conditions where that ever happens. But typically, once a card is gone, it's gone. But so you can read time, you end up with 3 cards done. You can also investigate the cards at this time, and I will tell you what that means in a moment. Once everyone is settled on their quest hand, players choose their start location. So you can look at your quest hand first before you choose your location if you have a location choice. Once locations have been chosen, though, you then draw 3 event cards, which is a second deck. Now, the event cards are like the all play cards. Anyone can get these. Anyone can complete these. They are just locations on the board. It's a race to them, possibly. Anyone can get at these. Or characters can team up to do them, and so on. The quest cards are yours and yours only. Some of them are a little bit dicey in that you could easily see, oh, maybe everybody could do this. No, but they're just for you. So imagine that you went to the board, the notice board, you pulled down the poster, no one else can see the poster, it's yours. So if it's like a rescue or a missing person or something, or I think rescues, missing person's an event, rescue is a quest. So even if it's rescue, oh man, this character is lost he's been taken by giants. Well, you pull that thing down, it's yours now, only you can get it. So once you've done that, so you get your cards, you redraw, you choose your start location, you pop the events, bam. Now you're ready to start the game. All the cards at the beginning of the game should be investigated. And what that means is some cards require you to make a choice. Some other cards require you to roll a random clearing or choose a clearing. That's what investigating is. And all your cards, you should know exactly where they are at the beginning of the game and exactly where their resolution is. Same thing with the events. They should be ready to resolve beginning of the game once you start day 1. Okay? So that is set up. We're not allocating victory points. We will talk about scoring here in a moment. So, quest cards. And how do you score? So, quest cards. Players score by completing quest cards in their hand or resolving event cards on the board. Each card has specific conditions for completion. It might have a location or some other decision to be made before it can be started or resolved. Players answer those questions by investigating the card. During Bird Song, before you write moves, each player can choose a card in their quest hand to investigate that they've not already investigated. That is the rule as written. I have experimented with just relaxing that and let you investigate cards as you want. There is no need to investigate. You do not have to investigate cards or make choices. Sometimes you might want to hold off on that. But you can do a card in the morning before you write moves. Unless otherwise stated, once you make a decision for a card, that is unchangeable after that fact. So as a for instance, let's say you draw the challenge. Well, what the heck is the challenge? Well, the challenge is a quest card, meaning that says, hey, you have been challenged. So here it says, on my document, and in the investigate column, it says, you receive a challenge from a member of a random native group. Take the top unhired member of that group and place him at the dwelling. The order and the guard never challenge. Reroll these groups if either of them are indicated. So what I would do then when I investigate that card is I would roll. I have a D8 table, 1 for each of the native groups in the game. And my display just went. because I'm not touching anything. I don't know if that actually impacted the video, except my surprise face. So, sorry about that. Really professional, by the way. We got a professional YouTube channel. So you would say, okay, well, hold on, I got to roll. So you roll, let's say you roll a 5, that's the company. So you take the top company, you roll a random dwelling. So we have a 1 through 6 dwelling. You roll and you say, large campfire. You place the top guy in the company at the large campfire. That is the location of your challenge. You have to find the large campfire and go there to resolve the quest. That's what investigating means. It means making all those decisions and rolling all those random bits to solidify the conditions of the card, right? So quests can be completed at various times during the day. So they're completed whenever you meet the conditions, you complete the quest and you put that card aside. Can be turned in at the end of the phase or activity that causes conditions to be met. For instance, a quest that requires you to locate the vault will be completed at the end of the search phase in which the site was successfully located. Done. Quest that requires you to kill a monster is completed at the end of that combat at the end of that day. It's removed from your hand when it's done, when it's completed. You score the points, and you potentially get the reward. Sometimes a card leaves you with an item or an additional activity for further rewards. You can still score typically on these cards. So, for instance, some of them like Giant Slayer, you kill the giant, you get the point immediately, but you still can write down on your sheet that you have giant innards, and those giant innards will entitle you to a potion if you return to a dwelling or a visitor. I'd have to look it up, but let's look it up because we're here. Let's look up Giant Slayer. So Giant Slayer says, choose a visitor. So the investigate, so it does have an investigate. Choose a visitor and place it in a dwelling of your choice. Kill any giant, and you earn 1 VP and giant innards. So as soon as you kill the giant, you write down the VP. You are done with that quest. But you do put the innards down on your sheet, and if you return the giant innards to any visitor, you receive a potion of giant strength. There you go. Now, you never have to complete that second part. If you don't want the potion or the visitor, there's no visitors on the board, or you placed a visitor on the board, but you know what I mean. Oh, they're too far away, whatever. You don't have to worry about it. You could leave that forever, could stay on your card. You're not going to lose anything. You've already completed the quest. At the end of the day, if you have turn quests in, so let's say you had 3 and I have Ghost Hunter. I completed Ghost Hunter. So not only have 2, at the end of the day, you can refill your hand always. No matter where you are, you always are going to have 3 quests at the beginning of, any given day. You should have 3 quest cards in your hand. However, you are stuck with those cards unless you end your day in a dwelling. Any character who ends his day in a dwelling, hidden or unhidden, can discard any number of his quest cards and then redraw to fill his hand. Done. If you're not in a dwelling, you can only draw to fill your hand, and that's to regain quest cards that you have completed effectively. Drawing a copy of a quest card you have is forbidden. Draw that copy, you immediately discard it and draw another card. Done. So there you go. So most quest cards, victory point when you complete them. Some quest cards for you too, and have little tweaks and advantages that you get. Some of them give you different chits. Some of them give you magic chits or allow you to transform your chits. It is definitely, and immediately people are going to say, well, that makes the game very easy. And I go, well, it's not. We're not playing against the game anymore. You are now playing against. This is not for solo, really. We don't play it solo here at home. We play with 3, 4, 5 people. We play this, and it is a race game at that point. Here, you notice I play 4 characters typically. Playing this solo doesn't make any sense. If you're going to play solo, play the normal victory conditions. I imagine there could. I have not figured out solo rules for this. That might be fun to think about. But I think I would almost make a different variant. I'd have to think about that. But that's a different video. So, victory. At the end of the game, you tally your VP earned from your cards. So I located the shrine. That's 1 VP. I did Snake Charmer. That's another VP. And let's say I consulted a demon. So I scored 3 VP on cards. That's great. I'll open up my scores here. So here's my scores, right? So let's pretend I am let's pretend I'm the White Knight. The White Knight died in this game I was playing, which I actually lost the state of this game. I lost I had a problem and the cats got on my table and messed up my cards. I my decks. So what that tells me is you need to lock your damn door or close your door. So let's say as the pally here, the White Knight, not the pally, that's silly. There's no such thing. Let's save this. I scored 3 points. So my cards, I scored 3 points. Now, what you'll notice is there's 4 categories of things. Categories of things are from left to right here. Well, cards, so 5 things. Cards, which I scored 3 cards, we'll say the whole game, which is pretty bad. But certainly, I've seen that game. Prowess. All right, what does that mean? Well, so one thing that I dislike about the original Victory Conditions is you can double dip fame and notoriety quite often. Now, treasures sort of play into this, and I get that. There's a little bit of wonkiness there. But typically, the answer is the big fighters, fame and notoriety are easy to get, and for some of the fighters, notoriety is easy to get, or wizard, sorcerers. So, having said that, so what I did was I merged fame and notoriety into prowess. And prowess is a combination of fame and notoriety. You gain prowess in the following ways. Every kill of a monster or native scores the higher of its fame or notoriety value as prowess. So when you kill a thing, now most of the values are equal for the monsters. Done. If you kill a dude, you get his notoriety. A human, you get his notoriety and prowess. And so some of the chits are 2 notoriety or 2 fame and 1 or that kind of, you take the higher of the 2 numbers, that's your prowess score for that kill. They multiply kills per day like fame did, and so that's how we did it. So we merged that into sort of a fighting stat, right? As you kill monsters or natives, you get prowess. Treasures with conditional fame scores score you that value in prowess if you sell them to the proper native group. So if you sell them, you can then take the prowess. I don't know if I'm keeping that rule, but it's the rules as written right now. The reason for that is simply that I don't know if that does that double up prowess and gold. I'll have to think of that. But so be it. Treasures with the notoriety value score half of that value as prowess at the end of the game, or 0 for negative. I don't actually worry about the negative. I'm not sure that's a great idea, but that's sort of how I'm rolling it. However, that same treasure cannot then be counted for great treasures. You have to pick one at the end of the game. So if you're winning notoriety handily, you can make those great count those in your great treasures, assuming they have the red dot. But if it's close, you might want to lean one way or the other for that. So that's how you score prowess. That's the first category. And pretty much in any game with more than 2 players, the leader of that category gets 2 points. The second place player gets a single point. Everybody else is locked out, and they get 0 points. So if the White Knight has the highest prowess because he is a fighter here, he might get 2 points. So I scored 2 points. The swordsman, let's say the swordsman gets second place, he scores a point. And then everybody else gets 0. So it might look like that. Gold. Gold is gold. Done. With the caveat that so the amount of gold you have. First thing is you must have a positive gold total, and you must have more than 10 gold to actually score any of these points. Secondly, your starting doesn't count against you. And again, you can sort of mental math this however you want. What I do is I take the value of your start gear, and if any of it is lost, damage, etc., that does count against you. If you sold it, that counts against you, and so on. So let's say that the White Knight has traded his greatsword for the Morning Star. Well, he would be at a -2 to start because that's simply because he does not have that sword. But he can count his Morning Star as part of that gear set, effectively. Um, it's a little convoluted. It might just be easier just to count their starting gear against them and allow them to sell their gear at the end, so to speak. That's sort of I mentally do that math to cut them, to adjust their gold totals. The idea is characters like the captain, who immediately really should sell their breastplate and hire the guard. That puts them at an instant disadvantage. There are, the White Knight who immediately takes a slight downgrade in money value, even though it's an upgrade in his fighting capability from the Greatsword to the Morning Star. He's taken a small hit. So those instant trading schemes or instant hiring schemes literally are going to count against you at the end. Having said that, highest gold total higher than 10 scores 2 points. Second place scores 1 point. The White Knight will pretend scores 0 in this case because he ended up with, not making a ton of gold, and he sold some stuff, and maybe his armor got broken or damaged or whatever. The next category is great treasures. Bam! Number of great treasures in your hand at the end of the game that aren't being counted for something else count. So great treasures. If you don't have any, you're scoring nothing. If you have one and no one else has any, you score 2 points. Good for you. That's how it goes. So great treasures, and finally spells learned is the last category. Now, keep in mind that the one thing about this game, it is way easier for a non-spellcaster in this game, in this quest variant, to learn spells because there are quests that will give you a spell. I don't find that bad. I don't 100% guarantee this is perfectly balanced supplement here for this. So we'll have to roll with that. So in this case, if we pretend that my White Knight got 3 points, 2 points in prowess, let's say no gold, he lost great treasures, but he came in second place, and he learned no spell. So in this case, our pilgrim here would score. So you add those up at the end, we would score a total of 6 points. We came in not a respectable, really. We came in a pretty, clunky third place there. That's it. That's the whole game. I don't think there's anything. Oh, visitors. Okay. Yeah. So, visitors, you don't place it like normal. Instead, a lot of cards allow you to place a visitor or force a visitor or whatever. Done. So that's that. Boom. Some cards are so some cards are immediately do a discover, or you can immediately become hidden, or whatever, right? Or use a one-time color source. These do not score you VP. They're played. They're bonuses. They just give you some bonus. Boons may be discarded at the end of any day, even if the character's not at a dwelling. And the reason for that is because you could just play them and you would get a card at the end of the day anyway. So you might as well be able to trade them in. You don't have to make purple magic. If you had the card and let's say you were the White Knight, you'd be like, what the hell am I going to use this for? Nothing. So you just can discard at the end of the day, pick a new card. Done. Only general rules here. So there are cases where when you roll a random dwelling, that dwelling might not be in the board, large or small campfire. That result stands. You just place the particular chit or chits on the large or small campfire, put it aside. That will appear when someone finds the campfire. When a roll is on a card, You make a magic. It assumes a magic realm roll. It assumes 2 dice take the highest. Otherwise, it will say roll 1d6 or roll 2d6. It will tell you when it does not mean a magic realm roll or a d10, right? Finally, when a denizen buys or sells a treasure for a stated value, so for instance, the Ancient Scrolls quest. So Ancient Scroll is get spell with treasure, any spell at all with a treasure. Well, I'm sorry, any spell with treasure. Bzz. Again, highly professional. Any treasure with a spell or color on it, anything, and you can sell it to a visitor for twice its listed value. Done. They will buy it for that value. However, a meeting roll is required, but only to determine if the trade will happen. Results other than insult, challenge, block, battle are ignored, and then the trade happens at the price listed in the quest. So some of these quests will simply allow you to sell something at a price. So Ancient Scrolls allows you to sell any treasure with a spell on it for twice its listed value. The Merchant quest allows you to buy treasure from a native group and sell it for 2 times not the listed price, but 2 times your purchase price. You're guaranteed a profit, guaranteed double money. And they will buy it for you at that highly inflated price. However, you have to at least make the roll. So you can't go to your enemy and trade. If you go to an unfriendly, it's highly unlikely you'll get a trade out of the deal. You need to go to someone who you can probably make a meeting roll with. That's what that roll is for. That's it. That's pretty much the whole quest variant. I will put a link for you. It's to a GitHub. I know, strangely enough, it's to GitHub, so maybe a little wonky, but let's see. Can I? Hey, let me switch from game capture to a quick display capture. Well, there's a clunky display capture for sure. Let me kill this guy. Let me kill the scores here. Let me kill this. I know, I should have done this way ahead of time. So, okay, so there we go. Let's I'll kick you to GitHub. So here's the GitHub of which I'm speaking. I'll put this link down in the comments here. It's github.com, cmcgowan stuff, as you can see there. And all you have to do is go to code and then download the zip, and you will get these 2 documents zipped up, done. So you do that, boom, there it is. You open that bad boy, and you can see the documents. There's MR Quest and MR Spells, and that will list the quest and the spells that I'm using. The spells that I'm using are, again, amalgamated from all kinds of every place I can find them. I took whatever spells that suited my, that struck my fancy. We've played a while. Ones that were obvious got, obvious answers got tossed. We've added a couple and so on. So you can try them out, see if you like it. There's even optional rules for some of the spells that are day spells to last longer based on your conditions. And so, again, you can tell me how you like those. So I think that's it. Thank you very much. And like I said, I will post this and put a link in the description below. Read and maybe even make your own deck. And every so often, I will update those documents. I haven't updated them in a while, except for just posting them. But I did just recently audit the deck to make sure everything was in the right place and added a few cards that I had just written the cards for, but didn't put them in the document. So hopefully you don't, we're not missing anything. So that's it. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a bit. Bye bye.